All right, should be live here. So, looks like we've got Big D Smoke is here. Welcome. So, looks like I am live over there. So, let's go ahead here. And Candy's here as well. Audio and video good, everyone? So, it looks like it's going to be good. So, cool. So, let's go ahead here and we'll just wait for, I got 6 people here. So, it's starting to get a little warmer up here. V-Stag's here, Chad's here. So, it's like we're good to go. It's a little warm up here today. So, getting a little warmer. Temperatures getting into the 60s and 70s now. So, definitely been a little bit better. So, give it a couple minutes here. Did anyone, as we're going, did anyone get any new fish? I did not get any new fish lately. Kind of in the moving mode at the moment. So we're just kind of moving stuff around in here. I do have some new fish coming tomorrow, which you'll see on the channel. Some stuff I'm pretty excited about, actually. So definitely, Candy got a mono shrimp. I've never kept any shrimp. I'm kind of getting the bug a little bit. Hey, Anthony, how's it going? So definitely getting the bug a little bit. Maybe I might get some shrimp. Hit mid 70s. Yep. I kind of like the 70, like the 70 degrees. It's kind of like my temperature. I don't like it too warm either. Sorry, whoops. Sorry, the light was out. It was gonna bother me. So definitely good. So, all right, let's go ahead now, and what I'm gonna do is kind of get lumpy dogs here. So we're gonna give it like another few seconds here, then I'm gonna flip you guys over to the other screen, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the Pam's here. So welcome, Pam. So I'm going to flip it over to the other screen, and I'm going to show you guys the kind of the progress. We're going to talk about, like it says in the thumbnail, the good, bad, and the ugly. Because there is a little bit of both, or all three. So let's go ahead here, and I'm going to flip the screen on you guys here in just a moment. So, and we're going to flip the scene to that. All right, so this is the progress that we've been making here. So, back there's the garage door. And this is the stand that we talked a little bit about last week. That I've shown you guys. And if you've watched the Corvus Oskin channel, definitely, yeah, you know what? I was going to fix that, but I didn't get a chance to. I was going to blow it up. I just have to go into... See, I can grow here, too. See, I can grow there. I can go tiny again. Funny. So this is kind of where it's at right now. I did drill some tanks tonight that are going to go up here. This is, yeah, that's up there. So, but basically, the couch used to be here in the old design. This was the island. So I've kicked, and then the tanks were further up here. So I kicked these tanks back, and it kind of comes into focus now. As you can see, there's the discus right there. They were not originally going to go there. But kind of that's where they ended up. And sorry about all these cords. I got to clean all this up. We're still in kind of construction mode here. So this is still kind of a mess. So this is the good. The reason the discus are here and will stay here is part of, we'll call it the bad. So let's flip. I'm gonna flip to the next page here. All right. So this is part of the good as well. So this basically is where I kept all the other fish that I had to kind of like rehome temporarily. So everything here went pretty well, other than I did lose one of the fish. I lost a female red empress. So, and I actually may lose the male. I found the male had jumped. He was in this tub right here, and I found him on the floor last night. So he was still breathing, so I picked him up, put him back in. He was doing kind of okay last night after a while, but he's didn't really like his new home too much after I moved him downstairs. So I'll flip back to this page. He's in this 90 gallon that's right here. You can't really see it very well, but he's right here. So let me flip this back to here. But I put all the fish in these 3 20 gallons and then these 2 tubs, which is going to be kind of good because I have 3 fish coming tomorrow. And hey, Rails Tanks, how's it going? And so I'm going to put the new fish in here, at least temporarily. And then we're going to go, and then I'll put them in their final resting place, or final living space, excuse me, once I have the other 20 gallons up. So that's the good. So, all right, now we're going to go to the bad. So this is, it doesn't look very much like a 90 gallon tank since I took it from like the stairs. So, but this sprung a leak on it. So this is where the discus was, the discus were going to go. But it was good for like a day, and this tank's always been a little weird. And like, I had trouble with it before too, and I resealed it up, so I might have to reseal it again. But when I moved it, it started leaking once I had the discus in it. So the discus were going to go here, and I was going to put more African cichlids here. So this is all running on this sump right here. So this tank, this tank, this tank, the 4 tanks up here. Originally it was going to be both of these 75s, but only one of them now. I did plumb this in so that I could run this 75 as well if I wanted to in the future, but I think I'm just going to leave the discus here. I kind of like the discus with the white sand. It looks kind of neat. And then I've got the, and then this is going to be another cichlid tank here. These are all going to be various like cichlids, maybe a little bit of grow out up here. And then from there, and then they're going to run on the one sump. There's another sump right here, which is going to be for the discus tank. And then these are the drains out of the barn you can see back here. So sorry to jump around on the slides, but kind of wanted to explain that a little bit. But so this tank has some sort of leak in it. So I got to figure that out. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this now. So this is going to be one of those situations where I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. So I'll think about it and I'll let you guys know. You can see this is a mess, right? You got pipes and vacuum cleaner and stuff, and so that's the bad. And now we're gonna go to the ugly. So this is the ugly. So this is what happens when I do projects. We've got buckets and stuff and tanks and cords and lights and a Corvus cup. Fish food, some more tanks, couch cushion, like, it's kind of a mess. So that's the ugly. So that's kind of the overview of what's going on here. So there'll definitely be more to come. So definitely, I'm kind of planning on Sunday to release like a more detailed video, kind of walk through all of it, a little bit more detail. You can see here, this is the 245 here. So this is gonna be kind of the next part of the project, and I gotta clean the glass here. Yet I probably have to harvest more guppy grass, but this is kind of gonna be like the next phase. I don't know yet what I'm gonna do tank wise, because I may combine these 2 saltwater tanks into one of these two, and then make one of them another freshwater tank. So, not real sure yet. So, that's, and then there's a South American tank here. And I want to replace the glass in this tank. It's really kind of scratched up and not too good. So, that is really it for that. So, let me put myself back to this scene right here. So, do you guys have any questions so far? I know it's a little bit, it went a little bit quick. We've only been going for about 10 minutes or so, but that's kind of what's going on there. So definitely do have some, like I said, I do have some new fish coming that I'm pretty excited about. Some new live bears. That's what I'll leave it with. So someone I've ordered from before, so there will be an unboxing video. Probably will do it Tuesday, or Thursday, sorry. So, you guys have any other questions on this? I mean, I know it's kind of quick. Where's the snack bar going? So that's part of the plan for this. Is I have a fridge in the house that I promised someone that I would be moving outside, which I haven't done so yet. So I have a fridge that I can put somewhere. I've been kind of debating all different types of things, so I'm not sure yet. It would be nice to have like a work area too. So it's definitely not final by any means. So somebody asked me the other day how many tanks I have, and I think at the end of this it will be around 60 in here. So once we get them all back up and running. So did any of you guys have a good Easter? We just did some of the family stuff, and then I actually get 4 days off. So I get Good Friday and the Monday Easter. So definitely, Cichlids 23 is here. How's it going? See, he slept a lot. Yeah, I needed to do that a little bit more. I've been going to bed a little bit too late, but that's neither here nor there. So, see, I told you guys I'm just an amateur. So let me Cichlids 23 real quick. I'll flip back to the other screen real quick. So just to kind of show you real quick the good, the bad, and the ugly. So this is the progress here on the barn. So just kind of I'm gonna run through it a little bit quicker than I did the first time. But so there is a sump here that runs these 3 tanks on the bottom, these 4 tanks on the top, this tank here, and there's a 90-gallon here kind of out of sight. So that sump right here runs all of those tanks. This sump right here will run the discus tank. So that's kind of the good. This is the kind of the good as well. This is where I kept all of the fish when I was doing all of this. This is the 90-gallon that we were just talking about that had the leak that I need to fix. And then this is the ugly. So just kind of what happens when you do projects, or like at least when I do projects, there's people who do a lot better job than I do with that. But so I've got about 13 watching, so thank you guys for coming along. So let's go back to this. Peter's here. How's it going? Lumpy Dog got 0 days off for Easter. Sorry to hear that. Lumpy Dog's sort of near me, so I work for one of the big 3 automakers, so we get kind of a pretty good deal in terms of days off. So kind of a nice deal. So I had a doctor's appointment and then had to take one of the day's random UAs. I got proof of taking meds. and that I'm not taking meds not prescribed. Okay. Yeah, sorry for that. Oh, so okay. So Lumpy works for an auto parts supplier. Um, yeah, I guess it depends where you're at. I mean, like I kind of work um, in the call it in the large headquarters building. So that's sort of and I work in procurement. So definitely, I'm not like out on the plant floor or anything like that. So I think some of those guys work definitely some more. So, um, dang it, Big D small. Yeah, okay. So we read that. So any of you guys going to any events recently? I know that the AJA is coming up. I was going to go out to Seattle, but I didn't get my act together and get my ticket in time. So that was kind of didn't really work out. So I do want to get out that way. So I'm kind of bantering around, maybe doing like reef works or something like that. So I think the Aquashella in Chicago I heard moved to September. Yeah, so Big D, it's local. Yeah, I was gonna go, and then I was like, oh. Then I was like, and I should have got it was my fault. I should have gotten my act together. But it didn't work out. So they're having a pet expo. Is it, Anthony? Are you in Arizona? There's one called Pet Fest. They were at Aquashella, and actually a couple of the reptile channels are pretty near to me. So that were going to that. They're like up the road. It was kind of funny. I have to remember their names, but Southern California. Okay. Yeah, so Big D, yeah, if it was local, like more local, I could see that for sure. Like, I didn't want to fly out and then like not get in for some reason, like the building is at capacity or anything like that. So I was kind of like, I have no excuse, right? I just don't, and I screwed up and didn't get my ticket. So yeah, it was weird how fast it like sold out, like all the stuff, like usually like shows, like stuff will kind of linger on for a while and like till like the last week or so, but then this was gone immediately, like the Amazon spheres and stuff. So let me see. Candy looks like she's getting something. Yeah, true. I agree, Big D. That's kind of where I was at. It was like, I could go hang out in the vendor room. I mean, I know quite a few people that'll probably be in the vendor room, but still. Let me see what Candy. Did I miss something from Candy? Don't know. I guess I didn't. He ships tomorrow. I just got an email from Sarah. So, okay. I'm assuming, I'm going to guess you bought fish from LRB. Maybe. So, let's see here. What else we got? I know some people just joined, so I am actually going to run through the slideshow again real quick. Yeah, apparently I missed something. So, alright, so for those of you who, people bought me shrimp, plants, and snails. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay. So, for some of you that have just joined, I am going to run back through the slideshow real quick. So, we're going to flip back to the front. Maybe. Alright. So we are back here at the front. So this is the current progress of the room. So from the originals, from the last setup we had, the couch was right here where this stand was. Here was the Cichlid Island, we called it. So, two of the tanks from the Cichlid Island, and then another tank, two tanks that used, oops, I didn't want to do that, that were back over here. Those 4 tanks got put on top here. And then the 275s that were against this side here got moved here. They were on the top here. The 190 gallon got put over here. And then there's going to be at least five 20-gallon highs here. So those are going to be like guppies and stuff like that. But all of these tanks, other than the discus tank here, are going to be the African cichlids, and they're going to run off that sump right there, along with these 3 tanks as well. So that was the good. And then I am going to move the TV. I haven't decided yet where it's going to go. And obviously, you know, we're going to clean the cords up and stuff like that. And then this pipe's got to get cleaned up. So now let's go to the next good part. So this was, this is where I housed the fish. So all the fish either lived in these 320 gallons or this tank right here or this tank right here. So I ran them all with air stones. So, and then also there is the this is the 90 gallon, which this is getting towards the bad part now. And this is where basically this sprung a leak. It was leaking. There's like a little seam right here. Like it leaked here, and there's one in the back, and it leaked there. It was kind of annoying. And then finally the ugly. This is what happens when I do projects. Stuff gets piled in the corner. And this was actually kind of cleaned up. There was actually a bunch of wood here too. I cleaned that up a little bit. So we're getting closer to getting this kind of cleaned up. So this is kind of what I've been working on. Tonight I drilled some of these 20-gallon tanks that have been sitting here forever. So, and I'm hoping like before I go to bed I might get them painted and get them up on the stand. So, all right. So let's head back to put me back on. So she got them from Lucas. Let me see. Big D Smoke wanted to get some cherry shrimp from Lucas, but it was all out. So 10 red, 10 blue, and 10 yellow. So Anne Marie's here from Windsor. Definitely neighbors to the south. So for those of you who don't know, Windsor, Ontario is actually south of Detroit. So it is the only spot in Canada that is south of the United States. I do not have any shrimp. I've bantered around about it a couple times, and I'm thinking about it. So I had a buddy that I used to play soccer with a long time ago, and he had the 90-gallon shrimp tank, the Planet Shrimp tank, long before. I mean, this was probably, say, like 4 or 5 years ago. So he has this big, had this big, huge Planet 90-gallon shrimp tank, and he was pushing me. It was kind of funny. He's like, dude, he's like, you got to breed all kinds of shrimp, and you can make it big time. This is long before Rob showed up on the scene, or at least I knew of Rob. So it was kind of, he's like, you got to go do this, man. You got to go breed shrimp. And this time I was into. I like the okay, yeah, we can show that. So yeah, so it was definitely no. So all right, Reels, we're gonna pull a map up. So hold on a minute. So we are going to search Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Alright, so we are going to go share the screen. Alright, so here is, alright, here we go. So this is, Windsor, Ontario is right here. So this is Ontario all the way through here. This is the St. Clair River. And then, so this is Canada, this is the United States. So right here is Detroit. And then if you go south, so this is the only point here, this little point here is the only part of Canada that is south of the United States. So right here, about here is the Ambassador Bridge. Here's the Windsor Tunnel, so you can go through the tunnel. So there is the, so that's the fun fact of the evening, is that if you go to that, Windsor, Ontario is the only place. Alright, we're gonna have to enhance here. Hold on. No, we won't do that. I think she's talking over here. So I think Belle Isle's right here. And then there's some other stuff down here if you keep going down. So this is like the Detroit River. This time of year, if you like to fish. So we're going to flip it back to me now. But if you like to fish... Reels. Sorry, Reels. We had to pull the map out. So if you like to fish, apparently it's walleye time over on the Detroit River. What was I going to say? My boat doesn't. I don't have the boat to hang with that, so I kind of stay on the inland lakes. So yeah, drinking age in Canada is 19. So that was kind of a thing to do back in the younger days. Is when you turn 19, you went across the border into Canada. And went to, I think there was a place called Jack's. So congrats, Anne Marie, for sure. So I think there was a place called Jack's in Windsor that was kind of one of the places. There was a couple other places too, and this was a long time ago. So I'm old, so. Oh, okay. So you're not that much younger than I am. So I don't drink anymore either, but it wasn't really like. I don't drink because I take some medication now that I can't, and like I never really. I didn't really. I don't know. It was something I did once in a while, so it kind of was like not a loss, I guess. So I am. So Big D Smoke and I are the same age. And Cyclids 23 says we're all babies. I don't feel like a baby. I realized how old I was when I started moving all those tanks around again. Oh, you put other stuff. Got it. No worries. No worries. Hey, not Nola Jane Fishrich, how's it going? So I've seen some more people pop in. So I am going to... I'm going to pop over to that other scene again. Actually, I got to pull it back up unless you guys want to learn about the map again. So let's flip to that scene again, and we will present So this is the latest layout. This is pretty much done. And grab the pointer. And so this is the discus tank right here. This sump right here runs these 3 tanks, the 4 tanks above, this tank here, and then the 90 gallon that's sitting here. This is the goldfish pond. There's some 10 gallons above here. This picture doesn't really show the spatial relation very well, but there will be some 20 gallons up here. This is where the fish were kept. So that's where the fish were kept. There's 320 gallons here that have been empty. They were slated to be saltwater, and I've not bought any saltwater tanks right now. And then these 2 tubs right here. And then flipping here is the 90 gallon that leaked. So this is the bad. And then the ugly is the mess that I created in this whole project that I now have to clean up. So that's the short version of the initial presentation. And so we'll put... see, Boss Hog is here. How's it going? So... is anyone else getting any new fish over the summer? I'm debating the summer tub thing. Not sure yet. So, not know where's Roscoe. Yeah, so Maple Street. I heard you say you were gonna buy 2 ponds. I don't know yet what I'm gonna do. I may just let it go for this year. Got enough other projects going on. So I'm also building my daughter a garden. So, but I have been tempted to put some other fish outside. So Peter M is, do you think goldfish or koi would survive Canadian winters? It just depends where in Canada. I'm going to assume that you are close to the U.S. border, because the majority of the population of Canada is generally fairly close to the border. So it would have at least a similar climate to here in Michigan, if not maybe like Minnesota, Toronto. Okay, so I'm going to say it's the same climate as here. I would say that it would, if you make it deep enough, just like Cichlids 23 said, you would be good. I think generally here, I think the minimum, like for like ground frost is like 4 feet. So that's what I'd say is about 4 feet. Multi-Tank Addiction is here. Hey Mike, how are you doing? Doing good. So if you guys have not subscribed to Multi-Tank Addiction's channel, please do so. And also, if you're not subscribed here, please do. So I think all of you guys pretty much are. But if you're not, please do. I think I'd have to look at the percentages again. But yeah, I saw you were a little bit under the weather, Chris. I hope you're feeling better. So Chris does some pretty cool art stuff. I have a picture from him from Aquashella that I need to get up in a frame. So maybe at some point I'll redo this background here and like take the tanks out and move them around a bit. I'm not sure yet, but maybe I'll do something like that. But yeah, Lumpy Dog's right as well. So Chris is feeling better. That's good. So yeah, so everyone, I think we all kind of agree as long as you dig it deep enough. I'll tell you this: if you work for any of the cities in Michigan, close your ears. But I dug the water out here last year about 2 feet. And I ran the pipe tape, and I didn't have any issues with freezing this winter. So that worked out pretty well. I do want to do one other plug as well. Oh, YouTube is getting angry. It apparently doesn't like emojis. My left shoulder, which is going to be my left right here. These in here are Iliodon furcidans. Behind me, we have Autopharynx tetrastigma fry. We have some Alanacara ethylwaini. And then we've got some the other ones are Labradochromis species hongi. So there's a hap, an abuna, and a peacock in there. So there's a whole bunch of the Swedish, they're called Swedish hongi. There's a whole bunch of those in there. There's a whole bunch of tetrastigma fry. I unfortunately lost the adults. Yeah, the furcidans are pretty big. And that's a 55-gallon tank, too. So those are not small fish. And then below me, I'll move over for a second. And there's fish down here, too. So down here, in the algae farm, are some... these are Goodea atropinus, and then you won't be able to see it. You'll see the very tip of it, but the tank that's right next to it is the Xenotoca lion's eye. So there are quite a few Goodea species floating around in here. Yeah, those are about a good 4 inches or so. I've never gotten any fry from them, so I don't know if they're eating them. Because that female, the big female, will get plump, but I'll never see any fry. So I don't know if, like I said, if they're eating them or what's going on. But I did get them from the ALA last year. I'm not going to make the ALA this year, but if you are in the Louisville, Kentucky area, please go check that out. It's a great event. It's definitely going to be on my list for next year, though. We'll see where it's at. I'm hoping it's in Florida because I want to go collect fish. So he's heard most Goodeads are prolific when younger. Yeah, I've not had a lot of luck getting Goodead fry. All right. So Chad Krotz has a question. I got a question for you. With a 20-gallon high and a hang-on back, what setup can I do to get a feel for a saltwater setup? Yeah, Chris, I will make it. Pretty sure I'm going to make it to Chicago. Chad, I'll get your question in just a second. Yeah, so Chris, I'm in Metro Detroit, so Chicago is a pretty easy drive for me. So it's not like Dallas where it's a plane ticket, everything like that. So I did go last year as well. But going back to Chad's question, Valley Fish is here. How's it going? So is Science Gal Aquatics. So yeah. So basically, 20-gallon high with a hang-on bat. So I'm going to tell you that you're probably not going to end up doing corals with that setup just because you're going to get a lot of bubbles from the hang-on back. I mean, you could, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't, but you're not. I mean, what I would do, honestly, with the 20-gallon with the hang-on back, get yourself some live rock. Get yourself maybe a pair of clownfish, and maybe, maybe a couple of shrimp or something like that, and maybe some really easy corals, like maybe some zoanthids or something. But really, here's the thing I struggle with in saltwater is I'm kind of a believer until you really know what you're doing, bigger is better. Because there's a little bit more room for error. So, like, if you're playing with a 20-gallon tank and you lose one of your parameters, like, it's going to be a huge drop, right? But when you have more water volume, it's going to be, you got a little bit more room for error. So, say you overfeed it on a 20, I'm going to use a simple example. So you overfeed your 20-gallon tank, you're going to lose your water parameters a lot more quickly than you would if you have my 245-gallon tank. Right, if I overfeed that tank, I'm going to have to really overfeed it to make it really, really go downhill. And the one thing, too, a lot of the things with saltwater, honestly, it's really, really, really important to have consistency. Kind of like Cichlids 23 is mentioning here. Like the 18-gallon, try to keep it steady. So, like in saltwater, there's some things in my opinion, that you're going to need to learn how to play with. One is a protein skimmer. Those are really, it's important that you kind of play with that. That's a really important piece of filtration. One other thing too, and not a lot of people talk about it, is the auto top-off system. In my opinion, I would not run a saltwater tank without an auto top-off system. Same way that I wouldn't run freshwater without auto water change. It's like you're making it more difficult on yourself to really keep things dialed in. So I'm a big fan of automation to an extent. I mean, like I do the auto water change. I don't know about that. I think there were some out there in '98. I'm gonna have. But I think they've been out for forever. I thought. I mean, they may have been homemade and stuff. That's not what I'm going to research live, but I think the Evo like Berlin skimmer was out back then, and like the even more Evo Cyclone, which is actually better for things other than being a protein skimmer. But I think those were floating around. I don't think they were good like they are now. I swear they were out there. I'm gonna look now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look afterwards now because I'm curious. But yeah, so Cichlids 23 had the 18-gallon Eclipse salt tank back in the day, and the salinity was a nightmare. Yeah, so that's why you need the auto top off, because you'll lose salt to evaporation, and if you don't fill it up to the exact line, you're gonna have it move. It's just get an auto top off. Spend the money, get the auto top off. So, all right. Valleyfish Candy, great hearing about you helping with the coop. Quite a little, yeah. So, yep, Candy's helping out with the coop. So, for sure. I liked it. That's funny. Not know Jane Fish Rich. Yeah. All right. So, Anne Marie posted an event here. So April 27th. I am going to assume that this is the Windsor Aquarium Society's tropical fish swap meet. It's in Tecumseh, which is in Ontario. Does anyone know how to get fish back over the border from the U.S. into Canada? I'm sure like you could just drive them with them in your trunk and keep your mouth shut and no one would say anything. But I wonder what the legit rules are. Because I mean, there's a lot of people like Metro Detroit, Windsor, Ontario, that it's like right next to each other, right? So the GCCA is in Chicago. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you probably could get it. Yep. So Julian and Charles Delbeek. Yeah, like okay, and then Terry's Tropical Tanks is the GCCA is also having a swap in Chicago as well. Which I do want to get to one of those at some point. This weekend is not going to be one of them. I saw Primetime posted on that as well. So, yeah, I swear that they had protein skimmers back then, and I just lost my chair again. Yeah, my seat's dying, a slow and painful death. So, yep. So I have actually met. I've seen Dr. Charles Delbeek speak, and I've also met Julian Sprung. So there's an auction in Missouri as well. Here's the imaginary $5,000 super chat. Chad, if you did that for real, I might actually think of going to Seattle and hanging out in the vendor hall anyway. All right, so Science Gal is going to Missouri. I do want to bring your attention to another event. I've not talked about it in a while. There was some debate whether we were going to still have it, but it looks like it's on now. So basically, the Marine Breeding Initiative Conference is going to still be July 25th and 26th. It's going to be here in Michigan at the Cranbrook Institute of Science, which is in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. So the speakers have not been announced yet, but once they are, I will go ahead here and have them. I'll go ahead and tell you who they are. Unfortunately, multi-tank addiction, I am not going to be making it to the AGA. I didn't get my crap together and get a ticket, and I didn't want to fly out there without a ticket. I mean, I know I could go do stuff, right? I mean, I could go hang out in the vendor hall and go, if I was there, I would have to go to the aquarium co-op, and I'd have to harass Joel, and so I'd have to get my stuff together, but I didn't, which is going to turn out okay, I think. We're taking a family trip to Germany I know Joe will be at the AGA. So it looks, I know Joe will be there. So that's the one thing. Joel's a good dude, so definitely want to see him at some point. I may go out to Reefworks. So it looks like somebody, Cyclids 23's fish, went for a leap. So apologize for that. That kind of is not fun. Been there. I'll tell you guys a story here in just a second. Anne Marie wants to go to the Belle Isle Aquarium. Yes, I do too. I was gonna go, but what was I gonna say? They reopened it, so it's the world's largest, not largest, the world's first public aquarium. It closed down due to money issues, and then volunteers reopened it. So, and a lot of people donated fish. So I do want to go there. When it first opened, it was literally like a 2-hour wait. It was like Aquashella. If you've seen the lines from Aquashella in Dallas, it was the same thing. And I was like, we're not waiting in this. We're out of here. So the Marine Breeding Initiative, Candy posted up there again. At some point, we are working on a new website, which at some point will be finished, I hope. But yeah, if you guys want to go to the MBI workshop, it's a lot of fun. You get to see some pretty cool stuff. We've had the guy who was the first guy to breed the yellow tang, or actually the first people. I think there was it was actually a woman who did that, and then we had the guy who bred the blue tang as well. His name was Dr. Kevin Barden. So it's definitely some good stuff. Once the website's kind of out of this like deadish zone, I will show it to you because there's some good stuff on there. I don't know if some of you guys, like early on, I went through, showed you guys a little bit of research on Fishbase. So we may have to do that again at some point. It was kind of fun. I just pulled the Fishbase up and we kind of looked at it. So let me see if there's anything else I want to hit. So, Sigless 23, I'm going to get a freshwater tiger moray eel for the 75 in my room when I freed it up, but now my baby Fahaka puffer is coming into my room. Okay. It's one thing I've never messed with. I never really messed with the puffers that much. Either saltwater or freshwater. It's never really got into that. So, my favorite freshwater fish, it always changes. It's kind of funny. I honestly, Chris, I kind of like the Gadiads right now. I've always been drawn to kind of like the rarer, like the unique stuff. Like it's weird. Like I've purchased so many brown clownfish that like you can't even see straight. So I'm gonna pull up some pictures here for a second. We're gonna go to the internet again. Yes, I didn't mean that. Thank you. So, we're going to go to the screen again here. So you know how many brown clownfish I've purchased? Right? Brown clownfish. Kind of brown clownfish. See? Brown. Kind of brown. Now, these are the same species, but, you know, like, let me see, there's some other ones in here. Yeah, these are, you know, those are, so these are Alardes, kind of brown, right? That's another Kinados. Let's see what other ones. That's not a clownfish. You know, stuff like that. Another one, yeah, you know, so kind of get my point, right? So where I'm getting with that, it's 23. Where I'm getting with that is, that kind of like, kind of gets me, like, that's kind of where, like, I guess I could kind of trace, like, you know, my roots to, like, you know, why I would like something like a Gadiad. They're hard to get. They're endangered, which I kind of like the conservation. I mean, I do like the conservation aspect of it. And then also, you know, and also, you know, like I said, it's a really good conservation thing. They're in the wild, so not Nola Jane Fish Rich. No, so I'll give you guys a little bit of a history for some of you who are kind of newer to this stream. So my history actually is a lot in saltwater. So I did saltwater, and I still do saltwater. I've been doing it now for about it's been over 10 years now, and then about 3 years ago or so, I started playing around with freshwater, and I kind of grew to like it. You know, because there's always like this attitude in saltwater, it's like, oh, the freshwater, we're gonna touch. You know, they're kind of right. They're kind of, people denote them as different hobbies, but a lot of it's the same. So a lot of it, in my opinion, this is Mike's opinion. is, like, and I've said this before on here, is that the plant guy and the coral guy are the same guy. It's just a different medium, right? So, I'm going to use someone as an example, is Corvus Oskin, right? So he's really deep into plants, but then he's got the reef tank, and they're kind of that same like gardener mentality. Like, I'm not really a garden guy, so I'm more of a fish guy, and I'm really kind of weird in the saltwater world because everyone thinks saltwater and they think reef tank, and there's actually a lot more to saltwater than that. How do you keep the bags of salt from hardening? I really don't. What I normally do is when I mix it. A lot of times, what I'll do, not Nola Jane, is the way I've set up, like for like if I were to do a water change, which I don't do a whole lot of. So, yeah. See, I mix mine in like 50-gallon increments just to keep it easy. But and I just keep it in the bag. Now, Nola Jane, what kind of salt are you using and what container do you have it in? Are you using like the Instant Ocean in the bucket or are you using the bags? I'm assuming you're going to use Instant Ocean for that, but I may be wrong. Because honestly, what I would do with the salt and the bags, okay. I honestly would hit the bag with, like if you have like a rubber mallet, so you don't break the bag, but yet break the salt up. I would keep it out of the humidity if you can. That's easier said than done, of course, but I would say that's what I would do. Just keep it out of the humidity. Move it. Especially if you open the bag. Take it out of your fish room, because if you get like moisture around it, it's gonna get hard. That's just. I mean, I know it's a pain. That's the only thing I can think of. It's very lightly so you don't glue it to yourself. Oh, yeah. So, can I attach the moss to the shrimp pot with super glue like Anubias or Java fern? I'm assuming he's talking about the aquarium co-op hut. So yes, Candy answered that for you. You should video it, Big D, so we can watch it and see if you glue yourself to it or not. But yeah, I always glue my fingers together like this when I super glue stuff. It drives me nuts. I also, it's good now. My hands are better now, but when I always use the, Dan sleeves here as well. So when I use like the PVC glue, I always get it on my hands. Like my hands will be like, they look like my skin's falling off because I get all the PVC glue all over my hands. I will at least glue my fingers or get gel glue. Yep. Yeah, I've got some Anubias that I picked up at the fish club I got to deal with too. So I'll probably glue that to myself too. We do it live, but I don't have it here handy. All right, so we're talking a little bit about, looks like backgrounds a little bit. I think I'm a mutt at this point. My dad has some stuff. My daughters actually took the Ancestry.com DNA test, so it should be interesting to see how they did, what that comes back with. So Cyclist 23 was a Jesse James territory. If you had bank robbers in your family, I'll still give you a thumbs up. Yeah, so we've been going for about an hour now. Yep. So Apex, then my Neptune Apex turns all the lights off in the fish room at 10 o'clock. So when it hits 10, the tanks behind me will go dark. That's just kind of how it rolls here. I mean, I could turn them back on with my phone if I so chose to, but I kind of want to keep everything like I said, consistency. Keep it consistent on the schedule. That test is like 500. I don't know. My wife got it for him for Easter, so I don't know what it'll come back with. But yeah, so it's going to be about 10 o'clock Eastern here. So I'm going to go for about another 5 minutes or so. If you guys have any last questions, we'll go ahead and get those in. I want to keep it a little bit short tonight. I want to finish some stuff up downstairs before I go to bed. So I want to get the... what I want to do is I want to paint the 20 gallons before I go to bed. So... yeah, so multi-tank addiction is shuts down in 3 stages. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice with the Apex, and that kind of goes back to what we talked about a little bit earlier about me being with saltwater. Is I got really hooked on the automation stuff for a while, and still am. And so, like, that's what's nice about the Apex is you can program each individual outlet and have it shut off all the timers and everything. At some point we'll do let me pull this up real quick. This will be like the last thing we'll do, but we'll pull up the Apex real quick. And I'll show you the Apex screen. So let me log into it here. Alright, so this is my Apex. So if you look here, you've got all of the, so this is the temperature right now. I'll have to look at that. Oh, I think that's in one of the other tanks. So, but anyways, this will show you the temps. I have to see where my temperature probe's hanging out at the moment. Like, this is kind of the stuff now that I moved. I've got to set it back up right. I've got to set the temperature probe back up. So that controls an outlet. You can get a pH probe as well, and this is, I don't know what this is measuring because there's no probe. This will actually tell you the number of amps that you're pulling off of each box, and then there's another temperature probe. These switches right here. Let me see. We want. So these switches right here are the auto top off. So it'll go from open to closed. So that will turn the auto top off on and off. And then I have a bunch of different outlets here. So these are, and I have to go back through and relabel these at some point. But these control like lights, heaters. Like this is the auto top off for the upstairs. So you can pull in here like and go for the program, right? So you've got, basically what this means is basically everything's set off. And then for this outlet, at 7 o'clock to 7:04, it turns on. Same thing for 1 o'clock. And then basically what it does, this defer statement tells it to run for 1 minute and 45 seconds. So that's a very, very, very basic look at the Apex. Someday I will do a video. I'll probably do a live stream on it and show you guys if you're a freshwater fish keeper, you should have it in your fish room. Because it's something that's very good for you guys to use. The base unit is actually not that expensive. Like the base, classic version, it's $250, I think. I'll have to look. before I did like a real video, and I'll research it. But that's something that I think it's invaluable. Like I had a pH issue, and it kind of wiped out a lot of my saltwater fish. And I went back through the history, like on those graphs, and I could tell that the pH was dropping, and that's what was causing the issues with my fish. So it looks like we've you can, yeah, Chris, if you start looking around that, be prepared for some sticker shock on the apex, and when you start getting into the probes and stuff, send me a message, Chris, if you have any questions on it. If you actually do buy it, I can help you out with it, because it's if you're not used to like programming stuff, it could be a little bit cumbersome. Yeah, so the Reefing Ricken, yeah, is that, I'm assuming that's the new one. Anne Marie's, how do you know if a rock is aquarium safe? One, don't boil it, because you might blow it up. But here's what I would tell you. You can either use vinegar, or there's something called muriatic acid. And basically you would put it on the rock and see if there's a reaction. And that way you can see if it's aquarium safe or not. So there's a couple of videos I know out there on YouTube. But that's what I've seen. I generally just buy the rocks. I find it's like, you know what? I could go hunting around in the, outside for them. And I guess that would be kind of fun, but at the same time, I would kind of use that with caution. One thing too is if you're starting to play around with muriatic acid, be careful with that stuff. I generally don't use it. I've not found a need to, but that can be pretty caustic stuff. So I would not. I honestly would do the vinegar. I've heard that muriatic acid's better, but honestly, wouldn't mess around with it. Alright, so we've been going for about an hour and 8 minutes now. So, real quick, we will do kind of the sales pitch here. So if you please smash the like button. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. That being said, I think we are going to yes, so real quick, they are expensive where I am, rocks, that is, LOL. Also, if it has shiny spots like metal, avoid the, yeah. Yep, true. So, we'll go ahead here, and we're going to shut it down, but I want to thank you guys for coming out. So, if you've not subscribed, please do so. If you're not subscribed to any of the other YouTubers on here, like Cichlids23, Multi-Tank Addiction, let me see, make sure I don't miss anyone. So basically, subscribe to everyone else who's on here. Even Candy. I know Candy doesn't put out content, but Candy does a lot to support the community as well, so please do that. And then anyone else, I think Cichlids23 puts out videos, Big D, maybe, Chad, Terry's Tropical Tanks, yeah, a Valley Fish. I have to make, I don't know which, who's putting out videos or not, so, but Reefing Ricken, if he's putting out videos, do that as well. So, with that being said, stay fishy, keep on breeding, and Chris, it was definitely nice to see you, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. We go every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Videos will come out on Thursday and Saturday, or Thursday morning and Sunday morning. So with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one.